Hey. So, like I previously mentioned in the Rainbow Cup tournament video, I kind of wanted to take some time and sit and talk just about life, I guess. So basically the point of this video is for me to kind of let loose of what's been going on in the month of June. Today officially is June 1st as of recording, so now that June's over, I guess I'll talk about June. Should have probably talked about it when it was happening. Either way, so let's start from the beginning. On June 1st, I have to be kind of careful with this subject because there's a lot of personal details that I can't give away for protection of parties involved. Okay, so basically, you guys probably, if you're a long-time viewer, for sure you know this. If you're not, then you probably don't, but I was... I am currently engaged to my fiance. We have been dating for 6 years, and my fiance and I were supposed to get married September 7th of this year, so in a couple of months from now. And on June 1st, my fiance was at a church meeting. Without delving too deep into this, my fiance is a decent, avid churchgoer. I mean, she really likes to go to church, but she's kind of in between churches at the moment, if that makes any sense. I myself haven't been to church since I was in high school. I am probably, I mean, the best way to describe me is an atheist. I just don't believe in God or the afterlife or whatever, but that's an entirely topic for an entirely another video. Long story short, my fiance was at a church meeting and she received several phone calls which she happened to miss because her phone was on silent. She basically got phone calls about her father, my father-in-law, being arrested. And I guess you'd really have to know my fiance to kind of understand like why the following events happened, but it's just it has to do a lot with my fiance's culture, has a lot to do with her willingness to literally drop everything and go. This situation, yes, it was different because it was her own father, but it could have been her fucking like seventh, twice removed step cousin or something. She still would have done this. Like, it's just who she is, right? And because of that, she has honestly changed me to be very, very similar in some ways, and I'll get to another story rather soon to kind of tie into that. But basically, her father got arrested. We did not know anything until I think she got the first round of phone calls at around 7:30 that night. And to cut most of these details out so that I don't tarnish anything, basically we had to drive to another state, and we sat at a sheriff's office for 23 hours straight. Probably, like, I probably had, my longest period sleeping was probably like 2 hours at the most. We would literally like take 30-minute naps and literally just wait for news about what was going to happen. My fiance's father's situation is not amazing. It's not the worst situation in the world, but it definitely is putting a large strain on most of the people involved. My fiance is part of a family of 4 children and 2 adults, of course, and one of the siblings, it's kind of touchy because I know that they want to help, but I don't know. I haven't seen any help. And my fiance, of course, on the way to the sheriff's office, called her sibling, and they denied going with us as they were hanging out with their cousin. Now, from the outside looking in, this sounds really, really dumb to tell it out loud, but in the moment it was extremely, I don't want to say traumatic. It's not like a traumatic situation. It's an extremely stressful situation, to say the least, but it was very tense. There was a lot of things that we didn't know were gonna happen. There was a lot of things we hoped wouldn't happen. We sat at the sheriff's office for 23 hours straight and was told that he would not be able to be released without giving away what charges or anything like that. Basically, he is not going to be able to be released anytime soon. Let's just put it that way. It was a pretty stressful event. I mean, this man is not my father by any means. He will be my father-in-law, but he was very. You kind of have to know him to really understand it, but the man would give you the shirt off of his back if he knew that you needed it more than he did. He was just that type of person. His favorite restaurant to go to, there was this homeless man that sat outside up against the light pole almost every single day, and every time that he would go eat there, he would buy that man a meal and he'd just give it to him. I mean, the man is like like one of the best role models in so many ways, and he got caught up in a lot of trouble that is going to take a lot of time away from his life and a lot of time away with him from the people that were in his life already. So that was a very long, drawn out, very stressful set of events, and the first 23 hours were only like the beginning. For probably the next 4 days, I would say, my fiance, I had to force her to eat. If she was awake, she was on the phone. The sheriff's office did not tell us any information that was helpful. We had to literally call other sheriff's office, other jails, and figure out where he was. We literally had to do everything in our power to even find him because they wouldn't tell us anything. So for like the next 4 days, if my fiance was awake, she was on the phone, or she was in the car, or she was talking to somebody, trying to figure out what the next step was. And of course, this is the first time that I have ever been involved in anything remotely close to this. This is the first time that my fiance has really ever been involved with anything like this, and I mean, neither of us knew what to do, and she really does look to me a lot of times and say, Ryan, what do I do? And I have no idea. Like, how do I be that person that does know what the next step is and helps by being that person when I don't know what the next step is? By the way, the sheriff's office didn't even tell my fiance that they were not going to release her dad. They told me, and I had to tell her. And the weird thing about that is I was literally reading through a thread like 10 minutes before this happened on Reddit about what's the hardest thing that you've ever had to tell somebody. That by far takes the cake as the hardest thing I've ever told somebody, is that she was not going to get to see her dad again for a long, long time. That was really hard. So, anyways, so for the next 4 days straight, like I said, on the phone, in the car, calling, talking to everybody. I had to force my fiance to eat. She literally just forgot about what keeps her alive. I swear if breathing wasn't an instinct, she wouldn't have freaking took a breath. But if you've ever been in a similar situation with any kind of stressful impact on your significant other, then I'm sure that you understand that you, even though you're not directly impacted like that, you definitely take a lot of that weight because you are supporting your significant other. It was very, very difficult for myself to not get aggravated or not get upset or anything like that with my fiance. Because, I mean, honestly, at one point in time, I wanted to tell her, and I'm pretty sure I told her at one point, because I generally, like, I'll bite my tongue in a lot of situations, but if it's just the blatant truth, then I'm just going to tell you. I told her, I was like, look, you've talked to your dad in the last 3 days more than you've talked to him in the last 3 weeks. And she had spoken to her dad like twice. After we found him in the jail that they finally sent him to, she got to speak to him for like 10 minutes. And I was like, you've talked to him more now than you have in the last 3 weeks. And I wasn't trying to like necessarily hurt her feelings, but I was trying to convey the fact that she took that time for granted, and now that something's actually happened, she's kind of wishing that she didn't take it for granted. That's all I was trying to convey. I wasn't trying to take out anything on her, even though that's kind of like what I felt as soon as I said it. I was like, oh crap, I just screwed up. Anyways, so basically, even to this point today, July 1st, we get to speak to him over the phone probably once every day if we wanted to. It's kind of up to him who he makes a phone call with, but you know, if he calls my fiance, then of course, you know, we get to talk, and he tries to call at least once a day, but it's nothing. It's one thing to talk to somebody when they're on their couch, like on the phone on their couch or something, but you know, knowing that your father's in jail somewhere, it's a little different. But that is probably the biggest thing that's happened this month, and that, it says I've been recording for roughly 14 minutes, and that's, you know, the freaking fastest snapshot that I can give you, and that doesn't even convey all of the emotion, all of the stress, all of the like just insane things that have happened over the last month. I mean, we've been to talk to lawyers. We've been told that if we gave people $2,000 that they could set everything straight. And like, I mean, playing with a person's vulnerability is insanely dangerous, because that person, as a vulnerable person, they are very likely to fall into any kind of trap like that. And if the events didn't play out the way that they did, if we didn't talk to the people that we did in the order that we did, I have no doubt in my mind that my fiance would have asked to give this person $2,000. And I mean, obviously that didn't happen, but looking back at that, like, how do I tell my fiance, no, I don't think it's a good idea to give this person $2,000 just because they said that they can get your dad out, or that they can fix the problem with your dad and speed up the process or whatever. Like, how do I deny my fiance that? That is one of the things that, like, it breaks my heart to think that my fiance would have to hear that from me. And I'm so glad that the way that things happened, it did not come to that. And I'm so glad that the way that things happened has been very fortunate for us and the people that are involved, because we've spent money, we've spent time, we've spent emotion, we've spent energy, but most of it has been in a very reasonable way, in a very reasonable manner. And that I'm very thankful for. So needless to say, as of July 1st, there is not much good news coming from that side of the situation. About midway through June, we decided that it would be pretty rough to have a wedding without her dad there, which is odd because before all of this happened, I wasn't so sure that my dad would be a part of our wedding, because that's a whole nother story for another video as well. But my dad and my mom, it's not a good situation. So I was honestly scared that my dad wasn't going to be at my wedding, and that was pretty hard to try to come to terms with. And I mean, even to this day, when we have our wedding, I still don't have a clue how that's gonna go. But either way, it's not nearly as bad now as my fiance not able to have her dad there. So that's it's a pretty hard thing. I mean, we had spent, I mean, probably close to, like, just spitballing a number, probably close to like $4,000, possibly even $5,000 total on, I mean, anything and everything you can imagine. We had our reception booked. We had it halfway paid off. That was $2,300 right there. We had the food and the drinks and stuff like that. Those were already planned. They weren't paid for, but they had been accounted for already. We had put a deposit down for our pictures, for photography and video at the wedding. We're not going to get that back. We bought, I mean, there in my living room, there is just boxes upon boxes of things that are going to be used at the wedding, that it's just going to sit there for a little while until we can figure out what the next step is. We had waiters and waitresses and all that kind of stuff. We had all that paid, and basically, I mean, we were very, very close to like go, like we were really close, and then this gets thrown on us. So about halfway through June, we made the decision to actually cancel the wedding. And I mean, if I'm being honest, it really does hurt to cancel the wedding, because like I really do want to marry my fiance, like I do, and hopefully one day she stops being the shy, timid person that she is in front of a camera for some reason, and you guys can meet her. But she's pretty fucking cool, and I mean, you really have to know her to even be able to say that, because she's a dick to most people. But that's kind of like the funnest part, is like she is very quick to be an asshole, but she's very, very smart about being an asshole. And until you get used to it, you'll hate her. But once you get used to it, it's just, I don't know, that's just her way of joking. So anyways, it was pretty rough to cancel the wedding and to have to call all these places and tell them that, you know, things have been moved or changed, and it's just not going to happen. Like, we already had our rings, and our rings were already engraved with our date, and that's useless now. So yeah, that was a pretty rough set of events, all in itself. And then we kind of get into, okay, so a good, very, very good friend of mine. We don't talk as often as I wish we did, but it's my fault for sure. I'm a very antisocial type person. I'm really bad to chuckle at something you said and then just not say anything back. I don't know why. I don't know where that comes from. I wish I could change that about myself. I would much rather not say anything than just say haha or lol. You know, I don't know. It's messed up either way, but it forces this person to not talk to me as much because they know they won't get responses very often, which is definitely my fault. But really close friend. He is a partier for sure. He loves to party and he loves to have a good time. There's nothing wrong with that. I will say that it felt like leading up to this event was kind of to be expected. I mean, I don't know if you could really say that he'd been going overboard, because I mean, that's subjective. He had been overboard by a long shot by my standards. I mean, I wouldn't party as much as he did, but that's completely subjective. He has his limit, and that's his deal, not mine. But I felt like he was definitely beyond the limit that I would personally go when it comes to drinking and to partying and things like that. So I was kind of worried for that, to say the least. But he had a situation where he was at a party and he was extremely drunk. Now, if you're watching this video, you will know exactly who you are, of course. But if I mistell this story, I'm very sorry. I'm trying to repeat the story as I heard it. But he was at a party. He was extremely drunk. And just for whatever reason, whether it was a dare or a joke or haha, I bet you won't do it, whatever, he jumped into a pool and he hit his head at the bottom of the pool, and immediately he said that he lost control of his limbs and he just couldn't do anything. He said he couldn't even like brush his arms to even like get to the top of the pool. He couldn't do anything. And he basically lost all of the feeling in his arms and in his legs and passed out. His girlfriend that was at the party said that he was probably under the water for like 30 seconds before they realized that he really wasn't joking. And they pulled him out, and she said that they were kind of like trying to get him to come to. They were shaking him. They were like, come on, wake up. Of course, they called 911, and the ambulance came to pick him up, and they took him to the ICU at the closest hospital. And I was told the following morning, I think it happened the night before I was told. It could have been 2 nights before. I can't honestly remember. But I was basically told that that he was in really bad condition, and myself, my brother, and Weldon, which is Doug Dimmadome. If you guys see him comment on any of my videos, it's Zibby Zone or Doug Dimmadome or whatever his freaking name is on YouTube. I can't remember. He told me that they were going to go see him and asked if I wanted to go. And this is where I could really tell that my fiance had definitely rubbed off on me, because like normally I would have been like, oh God, that's horrible, but no, I don't really want to go. I don't want to see them in that, situation. But I jumped and said, yeah, like I do want to go. I really do. So we all got together and we went to see him, and because of the way visitation worked at the hospital, it was 1 by 1, and my brother went in first, which is definitely his closest friend. Weldon went in second, which I would probably consider Weldon a higher tier of friend than even me, and then I went last. And it was weird because I was giving my brother and Weldon shit, and I was like, dude, you guys took forever, like wow, I can't believe you guys were back there for so long. And then I took probably as long as both of them did combined to talk to him. But he after he hit the bottom of the pool, he fractured the 5th vertebrae in his neck, which made him lose the feeling in his right leg completely at the time. And he was literally in ICU, hooked up to every machine imaginable that kept him from getting up, basically. He was fully conscious and able to talk. He wasn't able to really move his arms. He said it kind of hurt to move his arms. He could wiggle his toes on both feet, but he didn't have any feeling in his right leg. And he was really, really scary looking. I mean, he could have died. Honestly, like if he broke his neck, he had to have jumped hard into this pool. Granted, the pool was only 4 foot, so of course it was, a drunken, stupid jump. But either way, like he definitely got off lucky, in my opinion. And that was a big scare as well. I mean, like I said, I'm really bad to not carry the conversation or anything like that, but to think that he could have died was pretty crazy. And of course, I would not wish that upon him. I mean, he is a really amazing person. He's such a good friend. Like, I could probably call him right now, and if he didn't have a broken neck, he would come over here and talk to me if I needed him to. I mean, he's just that good of a dude. And I really was kind of scared that they said that he broke his neck, and the doctor said that he possibly wouldn't be able to walk again if he never regained the feeling in his leg. Of course, they would have to do some surgeries, and it was really rough in the moment. Couple of days went by, and the doctors basically said that after he healed up a little bit, that he is looking a lot better. He did scrape by with no surgeries, and he is out as of this most recent Friday. So before the end of June, he did actually leave the hospital. He has been walking around. Most recently, though, he has expressed that he can't really like move his fingers as well. He has either it's stiffness or he has pain in his hands. So obviously he's still not like to 100%, and what scares me is that he may never get completely back to 100%. I mean, I've always grown up knowing that a break in the neck or anything getting close to the neck and the spine is really cutting it close to being a done deal for a lot of your mobility and things like that. So that was extremely scary because I felt like I could have lost a friend, which would have been pretty hard. I mean, this man was going to be in my wedding. I mean, that's how good of a friend he is. He was going to be a groomsman at my wedding. My brother is going to be my best man, and me and this guy joked about him being the best man just because it was situationally it was extremely funny, because I kind of threw all of that on him, and he was like, wait, no. You have to choose your brother, and if you don't choose your brother, you have to choose your, childhood friends, and it was just a big funny situation. But he's as good of a friend as I could ask for, and it was scary to know that he got put in that situation, to say the least. And he doesn't know any of that, so I guess you do now. All right. So moving on from that situation, going into the Etika situation at this point. This was July 20th. If anybody is a fan or was a fan of Etika, of course you are probably extremely well versed in this scenario, in this situation. But I have been watching Etika for at least 4 years. I couldn't pinpoint the exact date, but I have been watching for a long time. And Etika was one of the only people. I had watched streams before. I had been, around long enough to know streaming and, what it was and what it could be, and the intricacies of how fun it can be or whatever. I had been around long enough to know all of that, but Etika was the one that really inadvertently talked me into streaming. I mean, the man never knew I even existed, but I watched him stream and wanted to just be that kind of person on stream. I just wanted to be able to toss a stream up and just talk to people and conversate with people, and just let the crowd kind of drive the stream. And I wanted chat to basically take me for a ride, is kind of how I wanted that. As selfish as that sounds, or as selfish as it may be, I got to see Etika do that a lot. I got to see him, say, let's play this game today, and he'll start playing that game, and then it quickly devolved into just scrolling through Twitter until somebody on Twitter said something, and it jumped from, Twitter to something else, and then something else, and whatever. I mean, I watched that happen several times, and I thought, holy cow, that just looks so much fun. So I actually started streaming on Twitch roughly 4 years ago, probably 3 years ago, maybe. Probably wasn't quite 4 years ago, but it was quite a while. I started January. Actually, I started January of 2016, so it is coming up on 4 years. It's been 3.5 years since I started streaming, and that was due to Etika and the actual impact that his stream and his personality and his attitude and everything had on me as a spectator, as someone just sitting across the internet from him. I really felt compelled and inspired to be a streamer. So I streamed for roughly a year, I believe. Twitch was okay. I got really into it, and I was definitely into it in terms of dedicated. I mean, I had schedules. I did scheduled streams in the morning. I had a couple of people from Europe. Shout out to Yorkie and Dan and Sturbs. If you ever, by chance, I guarantee you won't, but if you by ever chance see this, shout out to you guys, because you guys were amazing. All three of those guys were from Europe, and I got to hang out with them in the morning, my local time, and then I would take a break and spend some time with my fiance, and then I would come back in the evening and I would try to stream for 6 hours, from 4 to 12 or something like that. And that way I got to hang out with a lot of the not European, I got to hang out with a lot of the people from the US, and my brother would generally get on at that time. If he got off work, he would get on, and we'd hang out, and he was always like the one in chat, just trying to talk and get other people talking, and just really like just trying to drive the conversation and have a good time. And I streamed on Twitch for quite a while, and I got up to quite a few subs on Twitch, which was pretty cool. Shout out to Tannerus, one of the literal like subs that kept coming back. He was a really cool dude. Sorry, Tannerus, that I treated you pretty much like I treat everybody else in my life, where I just kind of stopped talking to them. But Etika definitely drove me to stream and to honestly become more of a content creator than anything. He for sure had that much of an impact where I felt like I wanted to create something and give it to the world is definitely how I felt at the time. So I had been following Etika for quite a while. I do remember, I don't remember seeing his channel go down the first time. I do not remember seeing him upload all of that crazy shit that he did, and got his, actually had YouTube step in and delete his channel. I don't remember any of that. I wasn't home when it happened, and I literally like didn't see it, and just literally Etika was disappeared for a while. And I asked my brother what happened. I got my brother into Etika as well, and he said, oh well, he was like, you didn't see it? He uploaded a bunch of shit to his YouTube, and basically it was just a bunch of porn, and he got his YouTube taken down. He was like, he's gone crazy. So I remember that conversation with my brother, but I don't remember seeing Etika, and I don't really remember anything about Etika popping back up until FRFX really like stepped in. And even then, like, I subbed to that channel because of course I was still a fan, no matter like what he did, no matter if he had a mental breakdown and uploaded a bunch of porn to YouTube, whatever. Like that just sounds like Etika to me, honestly. Like that sounds like something he would do. So I was just like, okay, whatever, like it's just Etika. So I remember when FRFX come out, and I subbed to that channel. I still watched, I still hung out on quite a few streams. I couldn't tell you the last time that I watched a Nintendo Direct from Nintendo. I always watched it with Etika, like every single time. It didn't matter. I just did. Like that was just my habit. That was my thing, is whenever Nintendo had something going on, if Etika streamed it, I watched it. If Etika didn't stream it, I'd watch the VOD on YouTube or something like that. Like I just did. Etika was that person for me. And so on I do remember being there when FRFX kind of like got thrown out the window, almost literally. I remember being there when he was posting on Twitter about Antichrist and him being a god. I remember the police breaking into his house. I remember him posting the picture on Twitter with his address, his phone number, the mental hospital papers. I remember all of that. Like I was there for all of that. And like honestly, like I sat and I watched, and it's not that I like intentionally just watched it for entertainment purposes or anything like that. Like I seriously remember telling my fiance, like, holy cow, this dude is like going nuts. Like I don't know what his problem is, but he's kind of going crazy. And like I said in the beginning, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God or anything like that. And to see Etika, talking about how he's God, like at first I was kind of like, dude, what in the hell are you talking about? And then as time goes on, I made middle ground with him, and I understood. I know what you're talking about. I understand there's this concept of we are our own gods and we are in control of our own destiny. Therefore, we have to do the things to make our lives full. I get that. That's a concept I've heard of plenty of times. And I don't think either people understood that and they still called him a clown, or they just didn't really understand where he was going with his conversations. And then sometimes he took it way too far, and it was all over the place. But I made middle ground with him, and I was like, all right, I get you. I understand where you're coming from. If that's what you want to believe, that's what you want to believe, man. That's no skin off my back. I don't care what my fiance believes. I don't care what Etika believes. I have my own beliefs too. What does it matter what he believes? Why am I going to call him a clown for believing what he wants to believe? That's fucking stupid. So I was there when Etika uploaded the video. I was sitting on my computer. My fiance was staying over at work, and she wasn't gonna be off work for another couple of hours or whatever. She said she was gonna leave. No, I think it was 20 minutes later, something like that. Either way, she said she was gonna be out, and he uploaded it. It went live at 12 on June 20th, and I watched the video where he apologizes to everybody, and I didn't know how to feel. I immediately just sent it to my brother, and my brother watched it, and his only response was, I seriously think he might do it this time. And I didn't believe it, because Etika, of course, has played with a lot of people's emotions, and he did a lot of things that were very questionable, whether he should have or shouldn't have done them. No matter what his full intent with the actions were, it's very questionable for him personally whether he should have done it or not. And I didn't believe that he was going to kill himself. I really didn't. And I held out a lot of hope. That night, while my fiance was on the way home, I told her what was going on. She knows who Etika is, because I would find these streams of Etika's so funny and just insanely hilarious that I would make her watch sometimes. I would show her what he was doing, or I would tell her oh my god, I remember this time. I don't remember what the exact donation amount was. It was $600, possibly even up to $1,000. I don't remember. He had a plate of spaghetti, and he just he didn't know how to react. Somebody threw that much money at him, and he just picked up the spaghetti and just smashed it and rubbed it all over his face. And he just looked at the camera and he was like, is that what you want? How can I repay you for giving me that much money? How can I entertain you for that much money? And it was the fucking funniest thing I had seen in forever. It's just, if you were a fan of Etika, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But just his energy and his attitude on stream, just mind-boggling how hilarious it was. So I held out a lot of hope. I stayed very, very close to the situation. I was constantly bouncing back and forth between the police scanners and Christine's stream. She was streaming Persona 5 that night. I never said anything in chat. I never said anything. I literally sat there and tried to listen to what she said. Everybody that jumped into her stream after Etika went missing basically, pressured her into watching the I'm sorry video, and you could tell that she was just, it's either that she had put those feelings deep down, that she couldn't bring herself to conjure those feelings back up, but all she kept saying was, he's not dead. I know he's not dead. She tried to call him several times. He never answered. There were just a lot of things that happened the night that he uploaded that video but I was extremely close to the situation. People listening to the police scanners, hearing about body found here. It was a black male found here. Like I was there. I was following Twitter. I was following his subreddit. I mean, I was everywhere that entire night. And when my fiance got home that night, I told her, I was like, Etika went missing. He uploaded this video where he apologizes to everybody, and it's crazy. I don't know like how to feel, and I don't think she really expected me to go as far as I did down the rabbit hole, so to speak. But she was just kind of like, he'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You know, it's whatever. She wasn't a fan of Etika necessarily. She was indifferent. She didn't really care. She didn't care about his content. She didn't watch it. She was like worried that I was worried about Etika. She wasn't necessarily worried, but she was worried about me being worried. So the next day came up, and I of course was still flipping through Twitter, subreddit. Keemstar was involved. Whatever. I've never been a fan of Keem. I just never have. I hate drama. I hate the whole atmosphere of drama, and his entire persona is centered around drama, and I've just never been a fan of it. So like I was like watching as he tweeted things, and then he fucking came out and he was like, never trust the Antichrist. This man planned it from the beginning. Like that shit right there is just, I mean, that's my biggest problem with the whole situation. Yeah, Etika fucking played us multiple times and, you know, telling us that he was gonna kill himself, but I have been depressed before in my life. I would say right now that I'm still like pretty depressed a lot of days. Like I seriously am depressed a lot of days, but I never ever will come out and just tell everybody I'm fucking depressed and I need help. That's not how it goes. He communicated in code. He communicated the only way that he knew he could without fucking chopping his pride in half. He told people that he was crazy. He told people that he's not well. He's been on stream and told people that the clown memes are fucking killing him. Like, he's said it, but nobody fucking believed it. And then when fucking Keemstar threw that tweet up where he was like, when should I have my next mental breakdown? How about the 20th? Yeah, catch you then, bro. That fucking tweet, and then he fucking said that he never trusts the Antichrist. This man played us from the beginning. Fuck that. It was already done and over by that time, I'm sure. But the fact that he fucking said it is the entire reason that Etika fucking believed he had no other way. Everybody, every single person that was even close to him would fucking say that shit. And that is the fucking problem. That was the entire problem the whole time, is that Etika needed somebody. He didn't know how to tell you. And then whenever you fucking tried to tell him something, he fucking blew up and he'd block your ass on Twitter. I mean, he blocked what? Shofu and fucking countless people. There were countless people that were fucking blocked. But either way, like he drove himself into that situation. I know that for a fact. Yes, I watched it happen. But the fact that Keemstar tweeted that was just fucking beating a dead horse. As fucked up as that saying is right now, that's exactly what it was. Because yes, that's exactly how Etika acted, and yeah, you should probably expect it from Etika, but it was still Etika's way of crying for help. And no one listened. So, a few days goes by. It was uploaded on the 20th, which was, what, a Thursday? Friday? Something like that. And it was broke on the following Thursday that there was a body found in the river, and it was Etika. I was here with my fiance that morning, and I refreshed Twitter, and I just saw RIP Etika everywhere. Like, I had been following since I woke up that morning, and in like the 5 minutes that I walked away and came back to my phone and refreshed, Rip Etika was everywhere. And I didn't believe it. I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and then somebody had quoted the New York Police Department's tweet where they confirmed that it was him. And I just fucking lost it, man. I really, really did. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I still can't. It's really fucking hard. My fiance was working on something for a family friend, and, you know, she just kind of was like, I'm sorry that it happened. Like, I'm sorry that, you know, that's the way it ended, because up until that point, I full on believed that it was a joke, that he would be back, and it was just, you know, he was just doing it again, the same thing that he had done before. But I told my fiance that I was gonna go outside, and I just went outside and just sat there and cried and flipped through Twitter and just looked at all of the people that were fucking just hit by this. All of the people that he had blocked, and all the people that were calling him clowns before, they all came out and were just like, I'm sorry, Etika, like, I can't believe you actually did that. And then I got to thinking about Christine, and like, yeah, they've been broken up for a long time. When I first started watching Etika, they were at their old apartment. They lived there together. They had Bombay together. I watched, I had been watching for probably a few months, possibly even close to a year, whenever they played Final Fantasy VII together, and that was the first time that Etika had played it. That's one of the earliest memories I have of watching him, but I feel like I had already been watching him for a while at that point. So like, I thought about like how Christine is going to be able to handle it. Like, yeah, they've been broken up for a long time, but I as much as I hate, you know, the things that are in my past with my exes and things like that, like, I still wouldn't wish them death. If I truly loved them, I still wouldn't want them to kill themselves. Like, I still can't possibly imagine how she felt and how she was handling it, because if I was just a random guy sitting in between the internet with this man and it hit me that hard, how hard was it going to hit the woman that was with him in an actual relationship for years? How is that going to hit her? It had to be insane. And then I went further down the rabbit hole. Literally just sat there and cried and cried and cried. I thought about his mom and like all of the pain and everything that she had to deal with at that point. I mean, Etika's brother killed himself, and now Etika killed himself. Like, I can't fathom what it's like to even lose a child, but to lose 2 children to suicide. Like, that, dude, that's got to be like the roughest thing ever. And putting myself in her shoes and in Christine's shoes, I literally could not help but cry over the situation. And then I saw all the other people on Twitter that were hurting and that were sad and that were crying, and it just fucking, like, oh my god, dude, it broke me. Like, it really did. And I walked back into the house, and my fiance was like, Ryan, are you crying? And I told her, yeah. And she came in there, and that's when she knew that it was pretty serious. And you know, she was like, talk to me, just whatever you gotta tell me, just tell me, just lay it out, I don't care what it is, just lay it out. And I tried to explain, but I mean, I don't know how to like convey how I felt in that moment to somebody who very, very unlikely has had any kind of connection to somebody in the same shoes as Etika. And I tried to explain, like, it would almost be like if you're like favorite actor died, or if your favorite singer died, or something like that. But Etika wasn't just like my favorite streamer. Like, Etika was almost like a role model. And like, I don't know, I still don't know how to convey that to somebody. I tried to convey that to my dad, and I don't know how. Like, I don't know how to show you or tell you how bad that actually hurt. So, that was extremely rough. That threw me into a big depression state right there, because not only have my fiance and I been dealing with the first part of this video's stress, there were so many more things that happened, you know, leading up to Etika's death, that, you know, it literally felt like things were just piled on and piled on and piled on. And then, like, yeah, I would say that Etika's death was me putting it back onto myself, because, I mean, I had nothing to do with it. I couldn't have done anything. I wish I tried at this point. I wish that he knew I existed, so that I could at least have tried to talk to him. I wish that I had some way to just say, dude, like, what's going on today? Like, I wish that I could have been that person, because him killing himself is like, he's gone forever. That day I tweeted, and I said that I haven't missed an upload in a long time, but I'm gonna have to miss one today. I sat down, I mean, most of you guys know that I have the notebook full of videos. You know, every page is a video. And I sat down and I tried to work. Like, I tried to just, like I said in the video after it happened, the video the day after it happened, I told you guys that I tried to fuel it towards the work that I was doing, but I couldn't. I sat down that day and I just, no matter what I looked at, whether it was my spreadsheet, my notebook, my freaking computer monitor, it didn't matter. I couldn't bring myself to work. Like, I just couldn't. And I've always heard that if something affects you so bad that you can't even do it, you can't continue doing the things that you do on a daily basis, then something's seriously wrong. And as you guys know, I put out a video every single day. That is my goal. That is my own personal goal. That's what I set out to do when I said that I was gonna take YouTube seriously, that I was gonna make videos for real, that I was really gonna do it, that I did one every day. That was my goal. That was my own personal stride. I wanted to do one every single day. And I think since August of last year, I've probably missed 3 or 4 at the most. Like, I got super sick one time, Etika died, and there's probably been a couple before that, before I like seriously put this imposition on myself. But either way, like, that's a dead serious thing that I seriously do strive for every day, and I couldn't bring myself to do anything else that day. It was so bad that my fiance called my brother and Weldon and said, you guys have to get him out of this house. Like, you guys have to take him somewhere. And we went to eat KFC, and like, I tried to talk to them, but Weldon was never a big fan of Etika, and my brother is, I don't know, he's not moved by death. Either he's not moved by it, or he dealt with it way faster than I did. Either one, I don't know which one it is, but I mean, I tried to tell them what was going on, but neither of them really knew what to say or how to help, or I mean, all they could do was offer to say, we're sorry that it happened, but like, what can we do? And I mean, there's nothing you can do. You can't do anything for that type of situation, for me at least. Like, it literally is just gonna be a time period of where I'm just gonna sulk and mourn, and there's nothing that speeds that process up. So after we ate, my brother, you know, went and told my dad. My dad knows that I have been really depressed. I was really bad depressed for quite a while. Not so much anymore, but my dad called and he was like, "Hey, your brother told me that you're feeling pretty down on yourself," and like it was hard to not like tear up with my dad, but I tried to explain to him the same that I did to my fiance, but it like I said, unless you had been there, like unless you knew Etika or knew the environment and the streams and all that stuff, like you'll never completely understand it like we do. And it's really like I hate the way that sounds because it sounds so elitist, but it's kind of true. Like, it's hard to convey how I felt towards this man, how I felt towards my role model, if you will, when it comes to doing what I do on a daily basis now. That was really hard to explain. And my dad, like, I love my dad to death, but he's really hard on giving advice sometimes. His big piece of advice was, now I kind of have an understanding of how it would feel if I did that. Which I kind of guess that's how it would feel if I killed myself, but that's not I don't know, it didn't really help, to say the least, but either way. Okay, I'll share something. This is extremely personal. And since this is a video about personal things, I was so depressed at a job that I used to have that I used to imagine just driving off the road on the way to work and just letting the car just go. It didn't matter. It didn't matter where it went. Like I knew I would be happier wrecking my car than going to this job every day. Needless to say, I don't work there anymore. I quit that job because I really did fear that I was gonna die. I started going to therapy, and I eventually got another job, and I didn't work there very long. I only worked there for like 2 weeks, and I've like literally spiraled until I got back into school, and getting back into school was a whole nother thing. But all of these things, all of this big like just black cloud, this huge depression spell really led me to eventually get a tattoo of something that was very, very personal. My fiance and I had just come back from vacation, and just randomly we were like, hey, let's get tattoos. And I knew that if I ever got a tattoo, it would have to mean something to me very, very much. And as you guys can probably tell, I keep doing this number right here, and that's because the tattoo is right above my knee. And oh, this is gonna be really difficult to see. Nope, okay. Let's try this. Can you see that? It's horrible. You know what? I'll take a picture of it. I'll just take a picture of it. So this tattoo is of Halley's Comet, or Halley's Comet, whichever way you want to pronounce it. When I was in the 3rd grade, I did the math, and I would roughly, if things work out like my 3rd grade math told me, I would be 72 the next time that Halley's Comet comes back by, and you would be able to see it from Earth. I promised myself when I was in the 3rd grade that I would watch that I wanted to see Halley's Comet come by. As a 3rd grader, how old are you in 3rd grade? Like 8, 9, 8? I think I was 8. As an 8-year-old, no, 9. As a 9-year-old, however old I was, as a very young adolescent, I told myself that I would stay alive until I was 72. And I had forgotten that. All those times that I drove to work and wanted to just kill myself by driving my car off of a cliff, basically off of a hill, into a patch of trees, whatever. Like I would have been happy anyway. Either way, it didn't matter. So the tattoo signifies to me that I will still make it. And I have this really weird habit now where, like, when I get stressed or upset, like, I really do rub on it. Like, I just take my palm and I just rub through the ink on the tattoo. I can't feel it. I mean, there's like little bumps, like where there's a lot of ink and a little ink. Like, I can kind of feel like some texture to it, but very, very little. But I just take my hand and I just rub through the tattoo like it's gonna, like, heal me or something. But I completely understand where Etika was, and I think that's what scares me the most. So needless to say, after Etika died, it honestly took me a few days. Tearing up, I can tell that I'm still not completely over it, but it took me a while to even get to the point where it didn't physically hurt me. Like, I could feel, like, just whether it's like a pain in my heart or my heart dropping to my stomach or whatever it was, like, it took me a while to not feel that feeling as soon as I thought his presence in my head. It was really, really hard. I still can't, probably. I don't think I can watch any of his videos at this point. Somebody posted something on Twitter, like probably the day after it happened, and I heard his voice and I just couldn't. Like, it was so hard. It was so hard to think that I'll never hear that voice. So I tried to let it out on Twitter, which it definitely helped a little. It was only a short thread, 4 posts, nothing too extensive, but I just sat and I cried as I typed those tweets and sent them. I couldn't stop hurting. I couldn't physically stop crying because of how much I wished it didn't end like it did. But needless to say, I'm still here. I don't plan on going anywhere. I'm not at that point in my life anymore. I would for sure say that I'm rubbing my tattoo again. That I definitely was. I'm sure at this point that I'm forgetting a lot of details, a lot of events, and a lot of things that made June so much harder than it really was. But June's over. And it is it's finally July. Oh. Okay, so I do have one more thing. I've been recording for 1 hour and 11 minutes at this point, so I don't know how much editing this video is gonna get, considering it's 11:16. God, I'm gonna have to edit this tomorrow. So, I came into Pokemon Go. Not crying anymore. Put these back on. I came into Pokemon Go, I mean, in August of last year. I haven't even been doing videos for a year yet. And I guess you never really understand what you're getting into until you're too deep into it, I guess. So I've never been this active inside of a community of gamers. That seems really bad. That's not the word I want to use. I've never been at the level, I've never been this involved in a community of dedicated players for a specific game as I am right now. The several hundred of you guys that do come by most days when I post a video, like I've never been this deep into a community. I've never put this much effort into my videos until now. Like, I seriously have not. Music, I started YouTube making music back in 2011, and there's no effort into those videos. Find an After Effects template, throw my MP3 on there, upload it to YouTube. Like, that's all it was. I made, streaming was a totally different beast. When I streamed, I did stream on YouTube for a couple of months, and VODs were automatically uploaded. I didn't have to do anything. Twitch was definitely where the audience was going to be, so I moved to Twitch, which definitely helped because I met 90% of the people that were regulars in my stream on Twitch. Most people from YouTube did come over. Shout out to Katalia if you're out there. I just downloaded the VOD from Twitch, cut it into 30-minute episodes, and re-uploaded it. I did little to no editing. Very, very little editing. And the entire reason that I wanted to start doing Pokemon Go was to learn how to actually edit video better. I wanted to learn what video editing was actually like, and I said that in the very first episode that I ever put out of Pokemon Go. I used to number my episodes for the people that haven't been around as long. Literally every day was a new episode number, and I started getting into PvP content right after PvP dropped. I started talking about the Boulder Cup, and I got a lot of you guys like saying, hey, like, this is cool. Like, I remember there were several comments like, dude, you hit the nail on the head. I agree with everything you said in this video. But I hated that video because all I did was basically just go to GamePress and pull all their information and then just literally almost read the article out loud on video. Like, what good is that? After that, I started to take it a lot more serious and put together my spreadsheet and tried to figure out like different unique ways to come up with my content. And I started doing these whole deep dives, and then I started doing versus videos, and like I evolved into like where I am now. And in the last, I'd say in the last like 2 weeks, it's been like super weird that there are people that are using my format. And this is gonna sound extremely arrogant and extremely narcissistic, but I have no other way to explain this, okay? It actually upsets me, it angers me just a smidge that I'm being ripped off. But then I think about it and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm using public information. They easily have access to all of this public information. The thing that makes me unique is I do these stupid skits at the beginning of my videos, and I write on whiteboards. Like, those are my two things. Like, that's just what makes me unique. And I know that. And I know that unless someone out there literally copies both of those things too, I will always be unique for those things. But to see people use my format and literally call it a deep dive was insane, to say the least. I mean, that blew my mind, literally blew my mind. And I still to this point don't really know if I even should feel some type of way about it. I don't think I should. So as soon as it, like, the thing that brought it to my attention was there was a comment that came onto a video of mine that were like, hey, love your deep dives. I can't believe that whenever I search for deep dives, you're not the top person. And I was like, whoa, what? I was like, if you search for like deep dive and then like the Jungle Cup, that, you know, I'm not first. Like, I thought I was the only one doing deep dives. That was the whole thing of me doing deep dives, is I wanted to be unique. I wanted to be the only person that literally puts out a video every single day, and it's a different Pokemon every single day, or a different topic at least. And I wanted to be, you know, that guy. I wanted to be the hardworking, unique, just completely off the wall, break the mold to how everybody else does their videos. I wanted to do my thing, and I wanted to do it my way. And now there's somebody else that is doing it and doing it better? Like, what? Better is subjective. The fact that YouTube prefers to put them above me is what I was really like, what? Like, how? Like, what are they doing that I've been doing deep dives since, I would say I've been seriously doing them since the Tempest Cup. What was the second cup? It's not the Tempest Cup. Oh my god. The Twilight Cup. I've been doing deep dives seriously since the Twilight Cup. And how in the last 4 months how in the last roughly 5 months have I done that many deep dives, and then somebody comes along within a week and is the top search result on YouTube? Really weird. Tags, title, whatever the reason is, I don't honestly know, but it kind of made me feel some type of way. Like, I feel like my uniqueness is gone. Like, I honestly do feel like I'm I'm not as unique as I was, and that really, really bothers me. I tweeted the other day that Pokemon Masters looks really nice, and it does. I'm not gonna lie. Some of you guys that have seen the intro where I talked about Dragon Ball Legends, I mean, I play Dragon Ball Legends more than I play Pokemon Go at this point. And that's for a whole different reason. I don't have a community. Weldon is the only person that will play Pokemon Go with me, and the only reason that I honestly want to play Pokemon Go is to raid, and we have to drive 30 minutes to actually raid. So Weldon usually is like, I really don't want to raid today, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we honestly don't even play Pokemon Go that much anymore, so I have filled that void of my life with Dragon Ball Legends. And if Pokemon Masters turns out to be a gacha game centered around Pokemon, I will lose my shit. I will probably be playing that game more than I play Dragon Ball Legends, which is already more than Pokemon Go. I love doing content for Pokemon Go. Do not get me wrong. I love doing it, and I love doing these deep dives. I have a basic formula to make these videos happen every single day, and it works 99% of the time. Yeah, I make small mistakes here or there. I'm spitballing and I say something wrong. You guys call me out on it all the time, I know. But I basically have it down to a science on how to get a video out every single day for Pokemon Go. And it works. And I love it. I really do love making videos for Pokemon Go. But I already know that if Pokemon Masters comes out, I am going to love this game. If it's a gacha game, I will love it even more. If it has PvP in it, then I'm going to be all over it. So I honestly don't know what's going to happen at this point. There's no release date for Masters. There's no telling when it'll be released, if it's this month in July or if it's in August or whatever. I don't know. If it gets released tomorrow, I will literally make a video tomorrow about it. I know that's how much I'm already interested in this game. So I don't know what exactly is gonna happen with Pokemon Go, because at this point, I honestly feel like I've given my uniqueness to you guys so much, and it bothers the absolute shit out of me that it's being ripped off. But it's not even really being ripped off. That's the part that I hate about it, is that's me being narcissistic. That's me being an asshole, is because it's not ripping me off. You're completely fine to go make videos and to do the things that you do on your channel. That's what your channel is for, man. That's why in the channel trailer for 2019, that's what I said. This is my channel. This is what I want to do. This is my outlet for creativity. Because I'm a fucking creative dude, but I need a way to express that creativity. And that's your way of doing that. That's fine. That's fine. It just really bothers me that it's fucking just blatantly the same thing. The same thing down to the title, talking about the Pokemon's stats. The only thing that I wish that I could add to my videos, and I've talked to my brother about it. My brother is the only person that I have in this world to talk about YouTube with, because my fiance gives two fucks about it. Weldon doesn't care anything about it, and I just don't have anybody else to really like bounce ideas off of. My brother makes YouTube videos. I've promoted his channel a couple of times throughout, this adventure in Pokemon Go. And the only thing that I've ever told him that I really want to add to my videos is just some battles. If I could find a way to add some battles of the subject Pokemon into my video, it would be so cool. But I've never told anybody that except for my brother. And the new deep dive wave that's coming in, crashing my parade, I guess. they are including gameplay, which is very, very cool. I love it. I really do love it. Like it's everything that I want that's missing from my deep dive formula. But I don't have the Pokemon, I don't have the resources, I don't even have 100,000 Stardust left. I don't have a way to get Stardust anymore. I don't walk 50 kilometers. I'm at home making videos all day long. I never have time making these videos to even play the game. It was hell in the month of June to even go to a tournament. Do you understand that? Like, I missed my ranked Rainbow Cup. People on Facebook Messenger being like, bruh, you coming today? I had to tell them no. I wasn't coming. I had too much other shit going on and I missed it. That in itself is very bothersome for me. I don't even have the time to do tournaments. I didn't even make a single gameplay video this month. I told you guys in the Rainbow Cup tournament that I did actually go to, I told you guys I haven't done a single bit of practice. I haven't touched any of the 6 Pokemon that I used until that day because I just literally have been either too depressed to play or too busy to play. I honestly have not been able to do anything with Pokemon Go other than make these videos for the last, honestly, for probably the last 3 months consecutive have I not really had the time to go and gather resources. So, with Pokemon Masters, it will be different because beings that if it's a gacha game, whether it's a gacha game or not, it's not going to be location based. The closest spawn to my house is like 500 feet that way on private property and about 600 feet that way on private property. The closest Pokestop is 1.2 kilometers that way and 1.3 kilometers that way. The closest raid scene is, like I said, 30 minutes that way. It's a roughly 30 miles that way. There's raids that I can do in the local town, which is only 10 miles away, but I can only do solo raids or duo raids, and neither myself nor Weldon have the resources to duo 4-star raids. Like, we just don't. We have, level 30 Pokemon, but we don't have the resources to power up and TM the things that we need to actually duo these tier 4s. So, Pokemon Masters will be very different in that respect. I honestly don't know if I will make Pokemon Go content until I hate it. Is all I'm trying to say. Even if I like Masters enough to warrant making videos on it, I will not jump ship immediately on Pokemon Go. I will continue to make videos for Pokemon Go. They may slow down, they may become like every other day instead of every single day, but either way I will still make videos until I hate it. It really does make me hate it knowing that I'm not the unique one anymore. And as narcissistic and as much of an asshole as that makes me sound, that's just me trying to be honest with myself and being honest with you guys, because that's what this whole video was about, is just honestly telling you guys what's been going on, what the truth is, and that's, I needed a way to let it out. So I think those are the 4 main things that I wanted to talk about at the beginning of June. Well, 5 things. 4 things? 4 things. 5 things. Those are the main things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you literally sat through this entire video, you deserve something. You want this Piccolo? You can have Piccolo if you want him. Come on, camera. Do the focus thing. Do the focus thing. Focus! You want Piccolo? You can have Piccolo. You sat through this entire thing. You did good. You did good. You can't have Piccolo though, I'm sorry. My fiance gave me that. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I really needed to do this video. And I thought about just recording it and not uploading it, but it's not about, it's about me letting these emotions go, but if I don't put it up, then I've been sitting here talking to myself for an hour and 31 minutes. If I put it up on YouTube, I truly let it go. I got it out there, and that's what I truly needed. So, I really do feel a lot better. I really do. So if you hung out, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you've been a part of this channel for a while, deeply thank you. For the first time since I've been doing this, somebody actually wanted to send me something. Somebody had the heart to want to give me something of theirs. Do you know, I don't know if you guys understand how that makes me feel. I hope that if you can put yourself in my shoes, you would feel as good as I do about that, because that's a fucking amazing. As soon as it comes in the mail, I will open it on a video. I will make it a huge deal, because it is a huge deal, and I want to say thank you, not only for doing something so selfless, but for just even thinking about me like that. Like, it's so cool. Thank you. Seriously. But we'll talk about that in an intro in the next few days, I'm sure. But yeah, if you have been here for a while, thank you for hanging out so long. My intros are retarded, and they're meant to be retarded. It comes from Max Mofo. That's where I get that from. It's just because I like watching him, and I don't know how to open a video seriously, so I always open it with a joke, and I don't know, it lightens the mood, and I like for the mood to be pretty light. But anyways, I feel a lot better. Thank you for hanging out and listening to me bitch and cry. Yeah, this is gonna be a long video. I'm sorry. I usually try to not do these, but the month of June was very defeating. As a human being, I feel defeated from the month of June, but thank you so much again. I know I've said it like 6 times, for hanging out, for watching, for being a part of my community. I don't tell you guys enough, but you guys are honestly the reason that I continue to do these videos. Even if there was only like 5 people that watch these videos, I'd still do them for those 5 people. I just would. Because if you guys get a chuckle or a laugh out of the intro, if you guys get something profound, if you have an epiphany from something that you saw on the whiteboard or in a spreadsheet or whatever, like that's what I live for at this moment. That's what I do. That's what this entire channel means to me at the moment. So with that being said, all credit to you guys for keeping me a sane human being in the month of June. Hopefully July is gonna kick ass. Already not shaping up to, but nothing nearly as bad as June. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I don't really think this video warrants thumbs up or thumbs down. If you thumbs down this video, you suck. You just really do suck. But whatever. It's your freedom of speech. Do whatever the hell you want to with it. Thank you guys for the 9th time. And until the next deep dive, which will be at some point in the very near future, because I don't know when this video is going to go live, I will catch you guys then. What?